Hey everybody, this is GGB. Today we're going to be getting into an entirely new week of college basketball upset of the day. Unfortunately, I don't know who's exactly going to be ranked and who's not going to be, so I'm going to go by what we have heading into Monday. Obviously, I can't record this as soon as rankings come out. It's pretty obvious why I could do that. I have school, other obligations, so I can't just wait for the rankings to come out, record the video right before these games happen. That's just not going to happen, so I'm recording the night before. So, to be granted, we're not going to have the same rankings heading into next week, obviously. But, as it stands today, we have three top 25 teams playing 2 games. Tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we got number 18, Texas Tech, which is at 15-4, traveling to number 7, Kansas, which is at 16-2. Kansas favored by 6 points on ESPN. And at 10 o'clock, we got Arizona State, which is at 6-10, traveling to number 16, USC, which is at 16-2, favored by 13 points on ESPN2. Let's real quick talk about the one upset that we got yesterday. By the way, that's 6 straight days with a top 25 upset. By the way, if you're keeping track, Marquette pulled off the upset against number 20 Xavier yesterday. Obviously, probably not the game that you were watching. You're probably watching one of the great NFL playoff games we got yesterday. But if you were watching it, Marquette did beat Xavier, and Marquette moves to 3rd place in the Big East. Now, I think there's an argument to be made. There's a tie there, right? 4-2 is a record held by UConn and Creighton, and they have the exact same win percentage as Marquette. But if you look at the standings right now, Marquette is 3rd place in the Big East. Not a big surprise for anyone who's watched Marquette this year. 6-game winning streak. Obviously look like one of the best teams in the Big Ten. Providence also won yesterday to keep 1st place in the Big East. Marquette looks phenomenally good. And Xavier ended up losing that game, falling to 4-3. Again, falls below UConn and Creighton. Luckily, they still had a Seton Hall, considering how bad Seton Hall has been lately. But still not great for Xavier. Obviously, you're putting yourself in a big hole if you want to win the Big East and get a shot at you probably have a decent shot at a March Madness berth, but you definitely wanted to win that game if you wanted a really great shot at it. So in the Big 12, we had a little bit of a switch up on Saturday, but regardless, you have the number 1 team in the Big 12 at Kansas playing the tied for 2nd place in the Big 12 in Texas Tech. So obviously going to be a huge game. What happens with a loss for each team? Obviously, Texas Tech with a loss drops out of tied for 2nd place. Obviously, if you're tied for 2nd place and you lose, you're not going to be in 2nd place anymore. A 5-3 record is still better than a 3-2 record last time I checked, and they're going to be in 3rd place regardless. So not a whole lot to lose for Texas Tech, but a whole lot to gain. With a win, you move to 6-2, and Kansas falls to 5-2, right? With a win for Texas Tech, they face 1st place in the Big 12, at least for now, until Baylor plays on Tuesday. But with a win for Texas Tech, Kansas would fall to 5-2. 5-2 for Kansas would drop them into a tie for 2nd place with Baylor. So interesting thing happening there with Texas Tech and Kansas. Obviously a lot to play for there. Now, if you look at the Pac-12 side of things, which is the other game we got going on, USC's playing. Arizona obviously won yesterday, still in 1st place. Now, with a win for USC, I looked it up, they would have a 7-2 record. And the 5-1 record of UCLA is still better than that. So best case scenario for USC, you stay in 3rd place and just gain a little bit more ground on UCLA. Worst case scenario for USC is you lose, right? I looked this up, and a 6-3 record is worse than a 5-2 record. And if you're Oregon, you're hoping and praying that's going to happen, because with a loss for USC, you fall to 6-3. Obviously better than Stanford and Washington's 4-3. But regardless, you fall to 6-3, and Oregon would move to 3rd place in the Pac-12. Something that not a lot of people thought was going to happen when they started off the season so poorly, but they have the longest win streak in the Pac-12 at 6. Looking at Arizona State, obviously you would love a win if you're Arizona State. You move to 3-4. Obviously not going to be enough to pass Washington State. Barring Washington State, you would have to wait till Wednesday to see if that was actually going to happen, but they play Utah. There's a decent chance they're going to win that game. So, best case scenario for Arizona State, you gain a little bit more ground. You move to 3-4 and just hope Utah gives you a huge favor over Washington State in a couple days. Now, Arizona State's not moving anywhere regardless, but with a loss for Arizona State, you fall to 2-5. Cal sits at 2-6. So again, Arizona helped you out yesterday by beating Cal if you're Arizona State. So worst case scenario is still you're not moving regardless if you're the Sun Devils. Best case scenario is you're getting a little bit more ground in Washington State. Worst case scenario, you're losing ground in Washington State, and Cal's gaining ground despite losing 5 in a row. So again, there's not that many games going on, and it's not that complicated of things, so there's not that much to talk about. Personally, I feel like it's just obvious, right? You're talking about Arizona State, one of the not as great teams in the Pac-12, right? They're not playing well this year. It's just not going great for Arizona State. That rhymed. But you're going against USC, who's like a top 20 team, right? USC is the third best team in the Pac-12 right now. Maybe not the third best team. I think Oregon's playing as one of those top 3 teams, but maybe the 4th best team in the Pac-12 right now. I mean, USC's playing at a high level. I feel like it's kind of hard to expect Arizona State to actually go win there. Texas Tech, on the other hand, I could 100% see it happening, and I feel like we could keep a streak of 7 straight days with an upset alive. That'd be really, really cool, if I'm going to be honest. But if you're going to talk about it, obviously Texas Tech has a very good squad built together this year. Kansas does as well, but Kansas State showed you that you can beat them on Saturday. Kansas State was unfortunately unable to hold on, but they did show you a blueprint to kind of beat Kansas over Texas Tech. Texas Tech definitely has the players. They beat West Virginia by a steady amount yesterday. They're playing for a lot today, and I feel like they pull a Michigan State on Friday, and they pull off the upset on the road. Alrighty, this is GGB saying adios amigos, and go Red Raiders.